Bookies, welcome back. It's your girl Amaya. It's so late and today I'm back with another video. And as y'all can tell by the title, I'm gonna be telling y'all a story time about how I got scammed out of $8,700 and then kicked out of school. Before we get into the video, I want to thank y'all so very much because I was able to monetize this channel a few weeks ago, and I want to thank you so much for all y'all support. If you came here from my other channel to continue supporting me, I want to thank you so very much. And if you're new here and you choose to support me, I also want to thank you as well. Another thing I want to mention is if you're the type of person that likes to put on story times in the background while you do your hair, your makeup, or you cleaning or whatever, just make sure you pay attention to the screen because I do have some receipts, baby, that I'm going to read. But it's also some receipts that I'm just going to put up on the screen that I'm not going to read that's going to back up whatever I'm saying. So with all of that being said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow all my social medias down in the description box. Go follow my main page because I be cute on there. Go follow my spin page, go follow my business page, and also go follow that TikTok as well. And let's just get right into this story time. Alright y'all, so this story time is going to be a little bit different than any other story time that I have told. Usually I give everybody involved the code name, but it's way too many people involved, so only 4 people is getting a code name, and I'll be using everybody else's real name. I won't be putting last names, I won't be putting faces in here, but I ain't got time for all that, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna be able to remember all them code names, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. So the first person that's gonna be getting a code name is the teacher that I got into a verbal altercation with, and we're gonna name her Big Bird because she was like 5'9", 5'10". The second person is gonna be the director of the school. We're gonna name her Miss Alopecia because, you know, her ceiling was missing a little bit at the top. And then we got 2 owners of the school. We're gonna name them Day and Night. They were sisters. Of course, you know, their names gonna speak for themselves. Daytime, it be shining, it be bright outside. That's who she was. She was bright, she was lively, she was a nice lady. Night, on the other hand, you know, it get dark at night. She had a little bit of darkness to her. So that's the only people that's gonna be getting a code name. So let me tell y'all why I decided to even go to the school in the first freaking place. I went to the school based off of their advertisement. And this is the sheet of paper that I got on my tour. So I'm going to read exactly what it says because this was exactly what was said on the website. I went to the school June 21st, 2022, and then I got kicked out of the school October 27th, 2022. So, of course, you know, their website is now updated, but this is exactly what it said at the moment I was trying to enroll. Are you interested in a career as a licensed esthetician? You will learn our signature Muse techniques for facials, lash lift, waxing, makeup, cluster lashes, chemical peels, and brow lamination. Don't that sound like you will be getting a lot? That's what I thought too, which is why I scheduled a tour. And on the day of my tour, I arrived 5 minutes early, right? Just to end up sitting there 15 extra minutes after my tour time was supposed to start. So a total of 20 minutes I was sitting there, and a student ended up coming up to me and my mom in the waiting room and was like, hey, what are you guys here for? Because Alopecia was, I guess, too busy and overbooked and was late during my tour time. We ended up telling her, oh, we here for a tour. She's like, oh, well, I can give y'all a tour. And that's exactly what that student did. A student gave me a tour, not Miss Alopecia. After the student gave me a tour and was telling me about the school, then Miss Alopecia finally had free time and was able to talk to us in her office. Once we got into Miss Alopecia's office, she basically told me every single thing that the student had just told me prior. While in this office, I stressed to Miss Alopecia, I'm okay with learning facials and lash lift and brow lamination and all this other stuff, as long as I get the best waxing education here, because I know for a Fendi fact, once I graduate school, get my license, I will be going into the field of waxing. So am I going to get the best education here? Am I going to feel comfortable after leaving this school? Am I going to feel comfortable and confident in waxing after I leave this school? Miss Alopecia reassured me, yes, you're going to get the best waxing education here. You're going to love it here. This is like a really great school. You know, she's hyping it up. She's making me feel like, yes, this is the right school to choose, right? Of course, I should have known that was her job. Because when I got actually into school, I found out they don't teach Brazilian waxing at all. For what reason? That's what I asked her. She told me because everybody's not comfortable looking in that area or working on that area. A vagina that we all have? Okay, so I said, well, if I volunteer to be a demo, will we be able to do it? She shot that idea down too. And then this is how she tried to get me. She gonna say, but we do Brazilian wax classes on Fridays because the school was only open. We only had school Monday through Thursday. So she's going to tell me, but we do have Brazilian wax classes sometimes available on Fridays for an extra $350. Plus, you got to bring your own model. So you mean to tell me I'm paying you $8,700, right, Boots? and y'all don't teach Brazilian waxing, but you want to charge me an extra $350 to teach me it? When y'all website said y'all teach waxing, y'all website did not say we teach all waxing except Brazilian. And when I sat in that office and told you I want to go into the field of waxing, you never said, oh, this is a great school, we do teach waxing, but we don't teach Brazilian. You conveniently left that out until I was into the school, already, put my money down, already started paying, and I didn't find this out until a couple months in the school. And I'm going ahead of myself, so let's just get into the school now, because that was the tour. But anyways, I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself. So let's start talking about some of the things in the school that I felt like was a scam. And I wasn't the only one that felt like it was a scam. I had a group chat with a lot of my classmates, and they also felt like this school was a scam also. So like I said, we go to school Monday through Thursday, right? And they would fit like 3 to 4 chapters in a 4-day week period. And y'all probably like, oh yeah, because they was probably small chapters. No. You ever seen a science book with all that extra scientific information in it? No, that's how big them chapters was. So y'all fit in 3 to 4 chapters. Plus we got to do the workbook on the chapters we read. Plus we got to take a test right after the chapter in a workbook. All of that in 1 week. I'm sorry, all of that in 4 days, because it wasn't even a full week. When I said we was going through chapters faster than the speed of light, baby, we was going through chapters faster than the speed of light. It got to the point where we wasn't even retaining and really like comprehending the material. It got to the point where we were just trying to memorize as much as we can so we could pass the test and it wouldn't hold us back. And that's not what you want from your esthetician. You don't want your esthetician in school just trying to hurry up and memorize stuff, and then when they get into the real world, they know half of what they're doing because the school put too much work on them in 1 week. Another thing is, it was like this school was facial driven and facial driven only. Even though they promised to teach us about waxing, makeup, and cluster lashes and all this other stuff, it seemed like their main focus was facials. We only got demos on facials. Everything else they showed us maybe one time. It was like, yeah, y'all figure the rest out yourself. Trial and tribulation, practice make perfect, baby. You can't show somebody something one time and expect them to get it down like that. Everybody learns at different speeds. But I know for a Fendi fact, you can't show somebody something one time and they be like, yep, got it. So we never received any demos unless it was for facials. We hardly even got facial demos if we was going to be completely honest. We just got a lot more facial demos than we did anything else. When I tell y'all, it was read a chapter, do the workbook on that chapter, take a test. Read another chapter, do a workbook on another chapter, and take another test. That was school all 4 days of the week. They did use the brand Circadia for their facial products, so they did have a Circadia rep come in maybe twice to teach us about, the ingredients in the products and stuff like that. But other than that, nobody came in. We had no presentators, none of that. On days where my teacher was absent, Miss Ashley, on days when my teacher was absent, it was no sub. They had no sub for her. So Miss Alopecia was our sub. But because Miss Alopecia is the director of the school, when she would come into our class to try to sub, it was nobody to fill in her position. So she often left us in the classroom by ourselves to go answer phones, respond back to emails, give a future student a tour, go talk to other instructors, go talk to the owners of the school night and day. So on days when my teacher wasn't here, it would seem like a wasted day because we would just sit in the classroom with no instruction and just sit on our phones scrolling. Now, if Miss Alopecia said, I definitely don't got time for y'all today, she would push us off on the advanced students because in aesthetic school, you spend 2 months as a beginner student and then you spend 3 months as an advanced student. So at the time, I was a beginner student and she would literally push us off on the advanced students if my teacher was absent that day. We would get with the advanced students and the advanced students would not know what the they were doing. So of course, us looking at the advanced students as beginner students, we like our future don't look too bright in this school. The advanced students was really, really cool though, and they definitely filled us in on some tea. It was a lot of things my classmates were starting to notice that we didn't like about the school. So we would ask the advanced students and bring it up to the advanced students just to get some more tea, some more info, because of course they've been in this school way longer than us. All the advanced students had different complaints. Everybody had different complaints about different stuff regarding the school, but every single advanced student had one complaint in common, and it was about this one specific teacher called Big Bird. Everybody said Big Bird had a bad attitude, a nasty attitude. She's very argumentative. She gets defensive. She'll argue with students. She likes to pick on students. And they all felt like she got away with this because I didn't know this at the time that I enrolled, but the school had opened up September in 2020. So it was a really, really new school. And Big Bird was one of the first classes to start at this school. I guess she graduated, went on to get her license, got her instructor's license as well, and then came back to this exact school, and of course they offered her a job. So they felt like Big Bird was a favorite student back then, and now she's allowed to come into the school and be a negative person every day and pick on students day in and day out because of favoritism, because the directors and the owners of the school favored her. She was one of the first people to go to the school when it opened. But at the time, I never crossed paths with Big Bird, so it was like I heard it, noted, but it's not really my problem yet because I don't see Big Bird. Because at this time, Big Bird was a night teacher. She didn't do daytime teaching, and I was a daytime student. Now, all of that was when my teacher wasn't present. But when my teacher was present, all we did, like I said, was independent book work. Read the chapter, book work, take a test. Read another chapter, book work, take that test. All the time. It was no reading the chapter as a class. It was all independent work. So we all felt like, well, dang, if we're going to come in here to just read the book, do the book work, and then take a test, we could do this at home. Like, we didn't come here to teach ourselves, basically. Y'all got us reading the chapter all by ourselves, doing the book work all by ourselves, and then taking a test all by ourselves. And it's not necessarily that I felt like, we couldn't do it by ourselves. It was just the fact that then what is the teacher here for if we teaching ourselves? So as we grew closer and closer as a class, our teacher got more comfortable and closer with us as well. So she started letting us in on some tea as well. So our teacher basically would tell us like, I do see that y'all always doing this independent, boring work. Y'all don't do nothing basically all day and day and out. So I've been trying to come up with fun projects and fun, school appropriate games for us to play as a class, but I have to get that cleared by Miss Alopecia. And she told us every time she would try to go get it cleared by Miss Alopecia would look and be like, nah, baby, stick to the curriculum, baby. Just stick to what they doing right now. Imagine you as a teacher go to the director of your school to try to get some projects and fun games cleared so that you can make school more enjoyable for your students. And the director is like, yeah, nah, baby. Get them little bitches the bare minimum. Now, up until this point of what I'm about to say, the staff, the administrative staff, directors, owners, instructors, they was all pretty nice. They complimented me a lot. I wore my natural hair out a lot during this time. So they always complimented my natural hair. They always called me pretty. They always would say I smelled really good. We always used to talk about perfume choices and stuff like that. Little girly things. They were all relatively nice up until this point. We was a couple weeks or a couple months into school. We were still beginners though. And we finally got our kit. The kit that's promised to us. The kit that they said was included into the tuition. Yeah, we finally got that kit. And inside that kit, it wasn't nothing but a bunch of facial products. Like I said, they used the Circadia brand for facial products. So we got one cleanser, one exfoliator, one toner, 2 masks, one moisturizer, and 1 sunscreen. We got a mannequin, a headband, and a drape. We got an extraction tool, and we also got some tweezers. Now, the rest of the stuff in that kit was all little stuff you could have got from the Dollar Tree. So all of us at a class, we're looking at this kit, and we just like, this is it. Like, y'all said y'all teaching us makeup, waxing, lashes, all this type of stuff, like lash clusters and some glue at the beauty supply store don't run you no higher than $25. A wax pot, some cheap beginner wax and some wax sticks on Amazon ain't gonna run you for more than $100. And we paid y'all all collectively at least almost $9,000. So why is we only receiving a kit full of facial supplies when y'all supposed to be teaching us all this other stuff as well? So of course we all was unhappy about that. Not only is the education subpar, but now this kit is some bullshit. So all of us as a class, we just like, we ain't feeling this. Like, we not feeling like we getting the best of what was promised to us. What was promised to us during our tour, we not feeling like we getting that. So at this point, my teacher not feeling the administrative staff. My classmates and I, we wasn't feeling the kid. We wasn't feeling, the education at school. We wasn't feeling the school at all. My whole class, including the teacher, was not feeling the school at all. So we had some questions. And I feel like rightfully so, because this school does not take, financial aid. They don't take any other type of loans, baby. They said you could give it to us in cash, check, or card. We don't know how you gonna get it. We don't know if you gotta suck it. We don't know if you gotta stand on the side of the road with a sign up that say I'm homeless to get it. We don't care how you gonna get it, but we ain't accepting no loan. So y'all gonna make it happen. So all of us is paying our hard-earned money Of course we want to know where it's going to. I mean, be for real. If you buy something online based off of the advertisement and then you finally get it shipped to you in the mail, you get it, and it's nothing like what was advertised, you gonna want your money back too. So our teacher ended up going to the director's office and was like, hey, my whole class would like to speak to you. We have some questions. And the director basically told her, I'll get to y'all when I can. I was a part-time student, which meant I went to school from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. It was also some full-time students in my class that went to school from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, but we all was in the same class. We just left at different times. I want to say about 8 of us was part-time and like 6 people was full-time. So we waited all day basically for Miss Alopecia to come in and talk to our class. 12 o'clock start rolling in, 1 o'clock start rolling in, baby, 2 o'clock start rolling in, then 3 o'clock hit, and we was like, oh, baby, she ain't coming. And at the time, I was also living in Mooresville, but going to school in Charlotte. So if y'all live in North Carolina, y'all know the 77 during rush hour, baby, it gets bad. And I am not about to be caught driving on the 77 during rush hour. That's what I'm not going to do. So when 3 o'clock hit, I said, baby, well, I just got to go. Maybe she'll come in and speak to us tomorrow. I don't know, but baby, I'm finna go before rush hour hit because I ain't got time. I ended up coming back in the next day, for school or whatever. And the full-time students, baby, had some tea for us. They said Miss Alopecia came in, they asked their questions respectfully about the kit, about the education. They asked all of these questions respectively. Our teacher was there as well. Nobody was disrespectful. I also want to say, in this class, I was the second youngest. I was 19 during the time of this school. My birthday isn't until December. It was another girl that was 18. She was a year younger than me. Everybody else was from the ages of 23 to 60. It was 2 older women in the class, 50 and 60. So believe me when I say we are grown adults that know how to ask questions respectfully. Miss Alopecia, though, she felt disrespected, I guess. Or maybe it was just her guilty conscience. I don't know. But her response to my class's questions was, you see this TV? That's where y'all tuition went. You see these tables y'all write on and the chairs y'all sit in? That's where y'all tuition went. You see the lights on in this baby? That's where y'all tuition went. Y'all see the running water in the bathroom when y'all wash your hands? That's where the tuition went, baby. So when the full-time students filled us part-time students in on what Miss Alopecia had to say, oh, baby, we ain't think that was cool. We ain't like that at all. We was looking at them like, y'all went for that? Because if we was here, we would have more questions on top of that, because how disrespectful can you be? Me, personally, if I heard that with my own ears, I would have said, well, can I get a refund, baby? Is it too late to get a refund? Hello? Hello, can I get a refund, please? Because that's disrespectful. We all paying you $9,000 and we have genuine, respectful questions. And that's how you return the energy? Bet. But the crazy thing is, y'all, every time somebody try to be funny, every time somebody try to do a little hee ha ha, crack a little joke, try to be funny, God's gonna show you exactly who the real comedian is, okay? So a few weeks after that, we got breaks sometimes. And during my breaks, I like to sit in the waiting area because the chairs have more cushion in them. So I'm sitting in the waiting area by this window and the sun was shining so bright, I had to take me a little video feeling real sun-kissed. I'm just sitting here like this, minding my business, taking a little video. I seen a man walk through the door, but I didn't think nothing of it because I ain't the director of this school. He can't be looking for me. So I'm just making my cute little video, minding my business, trying to get through this little fuck-ass school. And all of a sudden I hear, this is Steve from Duke Energy. We here to cut this shit off. And I got it on video. So let me play y'all the video.
Hey, good morning. Hey, I'm Steve from Duke Energy. I've got a disconnect order to cut you guys off. Go $600. If you call up there and settle the account, then I can just leave. Come on, my screen. Yeah, they're busting everybody.
Now, of course, I kept this video, saved this video, and ran right to my class to show my teacher and my classmates, because not you just try to be funny a couple weeks prior. Not you just try to be funny a couple weeks prior, and it's turning out y'all don't even pay the bills y'all say our tuition went to. So if y'all not paying the bills, our education trash, the kit trash, where did our money go? We got more questions, Alopecia. Me and my class had a good little hee-hee-ha-ha out of it. It was like a flip had switched with the administrative staff. After we asked these questions, they was no longer nice. They start taking away certain privileges, lying to us. So for example, Fridays, like I said, we went to school Monday through Thursday. Friday's supposed to be makeup day. So if you missed a day, because to graduate esthetician school, you need 600 hours in class. And you can only gain, I guess, 9 a day. So if you missed 9 hours that day because you had to be absent for whatever reason, you could come in Friday and make those hours up, right? That's what was told to us. After we asked these questions, all of a sudden, it was no more Friday makeup days. We had suspicions that it was, retaliation for us asking these questions and, being on to them about where the fuck all our money went. So we asked, why is there no longer any Friday makeup days? You know what we was told? It's a state board rule. It's a state board rule. If you don't know what state board is, state board rules everything aesthetic-wise, nails-wise, makeup-wise, cosmetology-wise, all of that. State board makes all of the rules for schools and cosmetologists, estheticians, nail techs, all of them. If state board make a rule, that's a rule, baby. Can't nobody break that rule. So imagine our surprise when Friday makeup days was brought back for the convenience of other classes. That's when we start realizing, oh, y'all lying to us. Because when state board makes a rule, baby, you can't go against that rule. Yes, a school can make their own rules within the school for whatever safety reasons or whatever reasons they want to make these rules for. Yes, they can make up their own rules for the school. But if state board has a rule, baby, that school got to follow it. So if it was a state board rule that we couldn't have no more Friday makeup days, they shouldn't ever be able to bring those back. And if they bring them back, they're going against state board, and that's illegal. So that's when we realized they was lying. We was like, oh, bet. And if all of that wasn't enough, before we could even switch from beginners to advanced side, our teacher quit. I got the screenshot of her reasoning for telling us that she quit because we all was in this group chat. And I'm going to put it up here somewhere, my receipt somewhere. Baby, that girl quit. She said, I'm gone. I can't take Miss Alopecia and her little nitpicky ways. I keep trying to get projects cleared, get games cleared, and every time it's a no. She said, I'm done, baby. I'm out. And the crazy part about it was her first day was our first day. She was a new teacher at that school. And before we could even switch to the advanced side, she was gone. State board was constantly pulling up. Why? Because they had so many things they needed to fix. But every time state board would pull up and I guess they got like a bad rating or I guess they got told, about themselves, they would take it out on us students. State board could come in and I guess give you a point off. Say you're supposed to have 4 outlets in one room and they come into a room and it's only 3 outlets. You're getting a point off or you're getting something taken off for that. They would take that out on us. That don't got nothing to do with us, baby. That y'all didn't decide to install 4 outlets in this room when y'all knew y'all needed to have 4 outlets in this room before state board even pulled up. What that got to do with us? But they would still take it out on us. They took us on a field trip to the mall and Dollar Tree. The mall, as grown-ass adults with our own car and our own money, they took us to the mall for a scavenger hunt and Dollar Tree. And the scavenger hunt was something like go in Sephora and find a cleanser for oily skin. Go into Neiman Marcus and find a red sweater. They got our big grown in this mall running wild to have a scavenger hunt. Then they took us on a field trip to Dollar Tree and Cosmoprof. Now, I will say the Cosmoprof field trip was a kind of good trip because you can get like aesthetic supplies, cosmetology supplies there. So if you're a licensed esthetician, you don't have to like bulk order certain supplies online all the time. You can just go to a Cosmoprof. So that was a good trip. That was a good little field trip or whatever. But I just feel like as aesthetic students, you would think that you would take us to a salon or a spa or even a tour salon suites, because if you go through school and you take your boards and you get licensed and you don't want to work for somebody else and you want to work for yourself and you be a solo esthetician, most solo estheticians work out of salon suites. So it would have been amazing for them to have a field trip where they took us on a tour of salon suites or just to somebody else's salon or somebody else's spa so we could see the everyday workings of a salon or spa. No, they took us to the mall and Dollar Tree. We finally start crossing paths with Big Bird. Why? Because Big Bird started coming in during the daytime to be a sub. They got the bright idea. I guess Alopecia got tired of being a sub and she said, Big Bird, can you come in from time to time to sub? Big Bird said, yeah. And Big Bird showed us exactly what the advanced students were talking about. Big Bird and my classmate Haley ended up getting into this argument. Well, I can't even say it was an argument because really it was Big Bird cussing out Haley. Haley didn't even say 2 words. Haley would try to speak and Big Bird would overtalk her by yelling at her, being disrespectful, being condescending. talking to her like she was a literal child, disrespecting the mess out of Haley. I don't know about y'all, but this is basically a trade school full of adults. Who you talking to? I don't care if you're the teacher and I'm the student. I'm still a grown woman at the end of the day. Who are you talking to? You need to talk to people with respect. She was disrespecting the mess out of her, yelling at her, chastising her like she was a child. Yelling at the top of her lungs to this girl. Disrespectful. And I witnessed that with my own two eyes. The other stuff the advanced students was telling us before, I just heard. It was things I just heard. I seen that with my own two eyes. And that was inappropriate and completely unprofessional. It was so unsanitary, y'all. So unsanitary. It was always hair in the bathroom, in the sinks. And I guess that's normal considering that it's a school full of women. But there's no reason why on Monday I come in and see hair on the bathroom floor. And then Tuesday I'll come in and see that same hair on the bathroom floor. And Wednesday I'll come in and see that same hair plus some more added hair because it's more days now on the floor. And then Thursday, the last day of school, it's all still on the floor. And then when I come in for my 3-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come back on Monday, it's still hair on the floor. Areas that was supposed to be clean and organized just had random stuff on top of it. Completely dirty. Contaminated areas. It was very unclean. We finally made it to the advanced side, y'all. We finally made it to the advanced side and got a whole brand new teacher, of course. And the teacher was trying to get to know us for the first couple of days. And she asked us, how we felt about the school. What did we like? What did we didn't like? And of course, we kept it real because we don't like nothing about this school. We don't like nothing about this school, so we kept it real. And everybody basically told her our complaints and all of the problems we were having with the administrative staff. And our new advanced teacher, Jennifer, she basically offered herself up to be our advocate. She was like, well, you guys, try telling me your complaints and then maybe I'll take them to the administrative staff and maybe it'll sound better coming from me. Maybe they'll, do something, change something since it's coming from a teacher and not a student. But that shouldn't matter because the students are paying their hard-earned money to go here. Y'all should be listening to us, period. So she basically offered herself up to be our advocate. And then a couple months in, she switched the flip on us. And this is how she spoke to a student that was bringing a complaint to her like she requested. This is how she spoke to that student.
So do you just want to gripe or do you want an answer?
I'm not griping.
Do you just want to tell me your complaint or do you want an answer? I just want to know because I feel like you're just complaining. So do you want an answer? It's a yes or no question because I can get one for you.
It's okay. No, it's fine.
After that, it just started getting cliquey and weird. Like, after that, I don't know if everybody was like, okay, F all the teachers, F everybody in here. But it started getting cliquey and weird. Everybody started talking about everybody. The instructors would talk about the other administrative staff to the students and then go back to the administrative staff and talk about the students. The students in the classroom would talk about each other. And I just started realizing like, oh, it's getting real fake around here. So it was problems before, but now it's just getting real fake around here. It's getting real drama filled. It's getting real, it's just too much. And at the time, my grandma had just passed March 6, 2022. And obviously I started to school in June of the same year. So at this point, I'm still grieving my grandmother and I don't have the energy to be around a bunch of fake while I'm grieving. My grandma was my best friend and I struggle every day to make it into school sometimes, to even sit there and deal with that sometimes because I had so much going on with losing the best person in my entire life. I lost my rock. I lost my best friend. I lost my everything. That was my girl. That was my road dog. I loved her so much and I was dealing with losing her, but also trying to make something of myself. So when everything started getting all fake and weird and everybody started talking about each other, I didn't have the energy. I just didn't have the energy to indulge. That's just not who I am in the first fucking place. I'm not fake. If I don't like you, I don't like you. If I kick it with you, I kick with you. So on top of me not moving like this, also grieving, it was too much. It started to be too much to even come to school some days. So I missed a lot of days, but when I was there, I just kept it cordial. So if you was a teacher to me, me and you, we just had a regular teacher relationship during class time. I participated in class activities. If I had a question, I raised my hand, talked to the teacher. If I had some concerns, I talked to my teacher. My teacher was talking to me. I spoke back. I was never rude. I was never mean. I was never distasteful to anybody. I was just cordial. Meanwhile, everybody else is oversharing their business, telling each other business around the school. You got one person coming up like, yeah, I gave my man the best head of his life, telling it to one student. Then you turn around by lunchtime and that student done told the whole entire class that she was giving neck to a homeless man behind a dumpster. That's not even what she really said. So it just started getting really cliquey, really weird. And the teachers and the administrative staff did not make it any easier because they was just as fake as the classmates. I had about 4 people that I really messed with in my class, but other than that, I just kept it cordial with everybody else. So if you was the director of the school, you know, you spoke to me in the hallway during passing, I spoke back. If you had a question for me, put me into your office. You know, I was real respectful. I communicated, everything was cool. If you was a teacher and you spoke to me, everything was cool. But outside of that, I kept shit cordial. It was no oversharing my business. It was no extra ha-ha kikis. You know, I'd be making TikTok with the 4 people I messed with, but for the people I was cordial with, I didn't make TikTok with y'all. And I feel like because everybody else was always oversharing and being fake, they would always smile in her face. Oh, I love that outfit. I love the way you did your hair today. And then turn behind her back and be like, that's just ugly. Like, she really showing her age with that hairstyle, because she was like in her 40s or 50s too. And I feel like she really felt some type of way towards me because of that. It wasn't because I actually did anything to her, but it was like, oh, she quiet, she not talking to me. I feel like she made her own problem out of nothing. I was simply just being cordial, and I feel like she took it as, oh, everybody else is, you know, socializing with me. Everybody else oversharing, tells their business and interacts, you know, all heavily and happily with me. Versus this one girl, she just sits in the class and she just is cordial with me. It's just regular with her. And I really feel like she did not like that about me. Something about that intimidated her for some reason. Because when I say I literally had no problem with this lady, like, up until what I'm about to tell y'all further on in the story, even now, I really didn't have no problem with that lady because everybody was being fake. I can't just pinpoint you for being like, oh, you was a fake ass teacher and because everybody was being fake in that school. I literally felt the same way about everybody. Everybody was cool, but y'all fake, and I'm gonna keep my distance from y'all. That was all my thought. I had no problem with this lady, and this lady literally made a problem out of nowhere. And I just feel like because she made a problem out of nowhere, it's like she singled me out. So say me and my 4 peoples, we over there making a TikTok, right? We making a cute little TikTok or whatever, having a good time. And all of a sudden, she'll be like, Amaya, come over here because you know you're not supposed to be making these TikToks in school, And she'll separate me from the 4 people, but let the 4 people stay over there in the little group. Why you single me out? Like we all wasn't here making a TikTok. Or another example, I swear, if she was to get a code name, I would name her Alzheimer's, because she would be like, y'all open y'all books to chapter 6. Get distracted for 4 to 5 seconds, and they be like, all right, y'all, come on, let's go to the spa floor. Y'all about to do services on each other. And we all would be looking like, okay, so is we opening our book in chapter 6, or is we going on the spa floor? What is tea? Like, what is we doing? Whenever another student would call her out on this, like, hey, Miss Jennifer, you know, you just told us to open up to chapter 6, and then you just told us to go to the spa floor, so you know which one we doing. She like, oh shoot, I'm getting old, child. Like, oh my gosh, like, my bad, y'all. I did not mean to tell y'all to go on the spa floor. Please open that chapter book to 6, please. Oh Lord, I'm just getting so old. That's how she would act. Versus if I mentioned it, like, hey, you know, you just told us to do one thing and then told us to do another, so which one are we doing? She would be like, here am I, you go picking on me. I didn't say nothing different than what everybody else be saying, because she did this so frequently, like every day. She did this at least twice every day. So we said it very frequently. We had to remind her very frequently. And I'm just like, I didn't say nothing different than any other student would. Like, I said the same exact things they be saying. And then again, I'm 19. How am I picking on a 55-year-old? Like, it's like she always wanted to make something out of nothing. Anything I said to this lady, she took negatively. I feel like because of her own feelings for me inside. So that was some of the reasons that I just didn't like this school. I felt like I was being scammed by this school. I wasn't getting the most out of school. My teacher can half remember what she teaching us. My other teacher done quit on us. We doing all this independent work. We teaching ourselves, and it's unsanitary. We not getting no demos. Y'all not really showing us how to do the stuff that we read. Like, nothing. It's basically like y'all just threw us out there and just made us do it all by trial and error. When we should have been getting guided by instructors. That's the whole reason why we're students in school trying to learn. We should be getting taught hands-on what the to do after we read it. But yeah, y'all, so that's all of the things I'm gonna tell y'all. That's not everything that happened. Trust me, it was way, 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 way more. But for the sake of time, I don't want to just be sitting up here talking all the time. Let me get to the nitty gritty. Let me get to exactly why I got kicked out of school. Gotta get my receipts ready for this part, child. Gotta get my receipts ready. So, October 25th was my homegirl Shantae's graduation. She was a full-time student. Like I said, I was a part-time student. So, part-time students graduated in November, whereas full-time students graduated in October. So, she was the first runner-up, October 25th. It was her graduation day. And she was under the impression that she would have to come in from 8 to 5. And then, you know, at 5, she would clock out. She would graduate. She would be done for the day. She wouldn't have to come back into school tomorrow. Throughout the day, you know, we chilling. We all getting ready, waiting until 5 o'clock because we got to cheer her on. Like, my girl really about to graduate. My girl did her thing. She made it out of this scamming school. Oh, she finna graduate. And then Alopecia comes up to her like midday and was like, yeah, so you know you'd be done at, let's say, 12 o'clock. So she was like, oh, I don't gotta stay till 5. I'll be done at like 12 o'clock. She was like, yeah. She was like, oh, well, then I can go home and change and, you know, change it to my graduation dress so that I could take cute graduation pictures. And she also was a mom. So she was like, I could also go pick my baby up early from school so she could see her mama graduate. So with these plans, she asked me if I wanted to ride along with her. Now, although I graduated in November, we all in the same class. So it's like all of my tests were taken. My service sheet majority was done. I pretty much was in school just trying to get to the 600-hour mark so I could really, really just graduate. But pretty much all of my academic stuff was done and finished. So it was like, at this point, part-time students would just show up to school basically just to socialize. So when she asked me if I wanted to go, I was like, yeah, girl, I'll go because we ain't doing nothing here but just scrolling on our phones and talking amongst each other. So yeah, girl, I'll go for the ride, baby. I'll go. Now, it was a rule in this school that if you clocked out, like if you left out of the school building door, as soon as you walked out that door, you had to clock out. Even if you was just going to sit in your car for 10 minutes, even if you were just going to sit on the curb and I guess smoke a cigarette like some of my classmates did, even if you wanted to go outside to take a phone call, you had to clock out of school because if you didn't, that would be considered stealing time. Do that make sense? As soon as you walk out the door, baby, you are stealing time if you did not clock out. It don't matter if you only stepping out for 2 seconds, baby. You got to clock out, baby, because that's stealing time. But of course, like I said, I was grieving my grandmother a lot. So a lot of days I couldn't even get up and make it to school. So I was far, far behind in my hours. Not my academics, but my hours. So I really needed the hours. So I was like, I'm going to go with her, but I ain't going to clock out. And I felt comfortable doing this because nobody clocked out. Nobody in this school clocked out. It was pretty much a rule that everybody knew was a rule, but nobody followed. Just like in real life. It's a law that you shouldn't speed, right? But everybody basically do it. Everybody know we ain't supposed to speed, but it's just one of them rules that everybody knows, but we still do. That was clocking out. That was the clocking out rule for the school. Everybody didn't clock out when they went to their car just to sit down. Everybody didn't clock out when they went down the street to go get some food for lunch. Everybody would go to the store and not clock out and be coming back to school. Everybody would leave school for a certain amount of time and not clock out and go do whatever they was doing and then come back to school still clocked in because we needed the hours. So I left with my homegirl Shantae. We stopped at her house. She changed. We was listening to music, having a good time. We went to go pick up her baby from school, and we came back to school. Now, as we coming back into school, while I'm walking in, Big Bird sees me walking in. This is only crucial because when Shantae asked me if I wanted to go, Big Bird heard her and was like, yeah, I don't care if you go with her. Just make sure you clock out. But me knowing that's not a rule anybody follows, and we've been not clocking out all this time, and we've been doing whatever we want to do with that rule all this time. I heard her say it, but I still wasn't clocking out. Why? Because I needed the hours. I'm trying to graduate. I'm trying to get up out of here. I need the hours. So I came back in. Me and Big Bird make eye contact. Immediately, she comes up to me. She's like, did you clock out when you left? Did you clock out when you left? Did you clock out when you left? Now, in this moment in time, it was like, I'm grown, so I'm not about to lie to you. But I'm not about to tell myself either, like, baby, if you don't got no proof that I didn't clock out and it's a chance that I could slide through, I'm not going to tell on myself. And then she just was like, girl, I already know you didn't clock out. I already know you didn't clock out. Like, why didn't you clock out? And I kept it $100 with that lady. I said, Big Bird, I didn't clock out because I wanted to go because there's really nothing much for us to do here anymore. We basically just show up to school and be on our phones. I wanted to go, but I needed the hours. That's literally what I told her. I said, Big Bird, I wanted to go, but I needed the hours. That's why I didn't clock out. And basically all she told me was, you should have clocked out. Next time, you need to be clocking out, whatever the case may be. I'm thinking that was the end of the conversation. We ended up cutting the cake for Shantae, and me and Big Bird was even talking after we cut the cake and everything. So I'm thinking everything cool, right? I come in the next day, October 26th, and see Big Bird the whole day because nobody needed a sub. And I had a good day, surprisingly. I had a really good day at that school that day. I was in line to clock out. I had clocked out, and I was about to walk out, but Big Bird was coming in. Now, it's only one entrance where you can leave out and come in, right? So as I'm about to walk out, Big Bird is coming in, and she ends up tapping me on my shoulder. I turn around, she's like, yeah, me and you need to talk. We need to talk. We need to talk. And so I'm just like, oh, what's up? Do y'all know this lady had the nerve to say out her mouth? And I also want to say she was about 32 years old. I know she was in her 30s. I don't know her exact age or whatever, but I know she was no younger than 32. And keep in mind, I'm 19, but I'm still grown at the same time. After she says, we need to talk, and I say, oh, what's up? She takes it upon herself to say, I'm going to do the movements and all. I'm going to give you one or two options. Either we can go in the system and take away them hours you left with Shantae when you were supposed to be clocked out, or we could go into the system and take them hours, and I could give you a write-up. Who you talking to? Who you talking to? As a grown woman speaking to another grown woman, why you talking to me like that? That's how you talk to kids. When kids do something wrong, you tell them you got one or two options. And who you talking to? That's not how you speak to adults. What you say is, I know we had a conversation yesterday, and I didn't tell you would have a consequence, but I ended up speaking to my colleagues later on that day when you left school, and we did determine that because this is a rule of our school, and you didn't abide by those rules, we are going to have to go into the system and take away those hours that you left and you were still clocked in. That's how you speak to an adult. That's how you tell an adult she has a consequence. That's how you speak to an adult. You don't go to an adult and you tell them, I'm going to give you one or two options. Either we can go into the system and take away them hours, or we can go into the system and take away them hours, and I'm going to give you a write-up. Because that's very passive-aggressive, you know? That's very disrespectful to speak to an adult that way. And I know for a Fendi fact, she would have never spoke to her peers or an elder that way. It was the fact that she knew I was 19 and she felt like speaking to me that way was okay. And then the simple fact that she has a history of speaking to younger students this way as well. So when I heard her say it, I felt immediately disrespected, but I was like, you know what? I got to watch what I say. I got to watch what I say because it's not like we on the streets or nothing. I got to watch what I say because I'm in a school setting. So I looked at her and I said, do what's best for you. And I walked out the door and I left for that day. Now, October 27th, I was driving to school and I was on the phone with my homegirl Shantae because, I had been updating her on what Big Bird said the day before. And I'm like, she's trying to make this whole thing a big deal, like everybody don't leave without clocking out, like everybody don't leave school for a good amount of time and don't clock out, like this ain't a regular thing for every student in their school. Why is she being so nitty-picky with me? So I'm on the phone with Shantae, I pull into the school parking lot, and the school started at like 8 o'clock. I was there at like 7:50, 7:55. And one thing about me, I'm not going inside that school until 8 o'clock. So I was sitting in my car still on the phone with Shantae, and she just like, Amaya, just ignore her. Like, yes, she being petty. I don't know why, she picking on you, but just go into that school, get your hours, and graduate. Forget her, ignore her, pay that girl dust, basically. And I was with that because at the end of the day, like, it is what it is. Go ahead and take them an hour and a half away from me. Go ahead and take it, boo. Like, it is what it is at this point. But I feel like that was real nitty-picky and petty of you. Especially when you know for a Fendi fact, everybody breaks this rule. Like I said, it's only one door to get in and out this school, right? And the door to leave out the school, you have to pass the director's office to leave out of the school. When I say all of us, you should just walk right past the director's office, don't clock out, and leave out the building. All of us did that. The director knew this, the owners knew this, Big Bird knew this, and every other teacher knew this as well. It was so bad they even had to send out an email, and people still didn't listen to it. And they still didn't even really enforce it in school either. So Shantae ended up saying something like, she probably not even going to take them hours anyway. She probably was just talking. And something in my brain goes, check your portal. So I'm on the phone with Shantae. I check my portal, and I see Big Bird really took them 2 hours away. So I was like, oh, okay, bet. So we actually are being petty. Like, we actually are being nitpicky. And I felt like it was because of that video I had took of them not paying their bills when Duke Energy had came in, because word around school had ended up getting around that I had this video, and the administrative team ended up asking me for the video. Well, actually, specifically, the owner, Knight, asked me to send her the video. So everybody was aware that I had this video of them where Duke Energy was basically saying, y'all ain't pay y'all bills and I'm finna come shut y'all off. So I really felt like they was acting more like nitpicky on me, but I was a really great student. I was always in dress code. I did what I was supposed to do. I took all my tests. Like I said, my service sheet was in their majority done. I came to school and I did what I was supposed to do. So it was not much they could trick me up on or catch me up on. So I feel like this was the moment they was waiting for. They definitely didn't want me in that school after seeing that video I had on them. And they was looking for a way to get me out, except I've always been a great student. I don't come into school settings to cause problems. So this was the only thing they could do to kind of trip me up. So once 8 o'clock hit, I went inside and I just went straight to my class. I saw Big Bird in the hallway passing. She saw me, but I just went straight to my class, baby. I just want to sit down and do my classwork and get out of here and graduate at this point. Now, while we sitting in this class, we often decided to like order like breakfast as a class sometimes, so we could just do one big order instead of everybody making their own separate orders, and then DoorDash and Uber Eats drivers is coming in at different separate times and stuff. Usually when we order as a big class, we always send one person out into the waiting room so they could get the food from the DoorDash driver and just bring it all back to the class. There's no reason for all of us to be sitting in the waiting room, you know? So on this particular day, I was the one that was supposed to wait in the waiting area to get the DoorDash and get our Chick-fil-A and stuff from the DoorDash person. I'm sitting in the waiting room. I'm just on my phone, watching TikToks, minding my business with my AirPods in. And I see Big Bird walk up. So, of course, I look up.